Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check it. On this particular podcast, got a special interview for you. It's my man Richard Dix. He is a husband, a father, a businessman, an entrepreneur, and he has a new clothing line out called Forever Hip Hop. So we're going to talk about the clothing line, we're going to talk about life, and we'll talk a little hip hop as well. So sit back, relax, get your popcorn ready, let's drop the theme music, and we'll get the podcast jumping. Let's get it. Welcome back. As I mentioned at the top, man, I got a special co-host, man. This man, we actually go back. We go way back. We go back like fat crayons and car seats. This young man is a father. He's a husband. He's a scholar. He's a businessman and an entrepreneur. Without further, and he's also a writer and a published author as well. Can't forget that. So without further ado, the CEO, my man Richard Dix. Rich, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? What's happening? How you doing this evening?
Man, doing great, man. Glad to have you on. What's been happening?
Man, nothing much. Just staying with the corporate grind, man.
True.
Trying to put a new brand, trying to raise kids.
True indeed.
Trying to carve out a new path for my. I'll be 50 this year, so
wow.
Facing the big 5-0. Haven't even really been able to enjoy being 49. I'm so, just really trying to define who I'm going to be coming decade.
True indeed. And you turn 50 in December, right?
Yes, sir.
Sags in the house. Yo, man, it is indeed a pleasure. Like I said, we go way back for those of you listening. I met this brother virtually many years ago. I want to say maybe like 2007, 2008. As many of you know, yeah. 2007. Okay, yeah. Many of you know, I have a blog. I don't really write on the blog as much as I used to. But we connected via our blogs back in the day. He had a blog called The Rich House, which is very popular, very deep blog. And this guy went on to publish books. And we finally met. We actually physically met when he came down to Atlanta for a conference. And then I went up to St. Louis a couple of years ago, hung out with him too, man. So this cat, like I said, we go way back, man. So for the people listening, man, before we start talking about your entrepreneurial effort, tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
I mean, well, professionally, I've been in IT for over 20 something years now, but I always been what I like to call a runaway slave. I never for the early part of my professional career, it was always 2-3 years that I'm out, I always had that entrepreneurial bug, so I would always want to, I always had my hand on a project, and I was like, man, I just didn't want to sit too long. But as I got older, I settled down. I have a family. I have 4 girls, 1 boy. So being responsible for other people's lives, you kind of have to really evaluate and determine, what the right moves are. So, I just decided that, chasing my dream in that manner wasn't going to be suitable for a family environment. So kind of dialed it back, and that's kind of how writing found me. I'll put it that way. Writing found me because I was in that space of just trying to figure out what it was I was going to do. I was always the guy who I always had some type of project going on. I was always chasing some type of idea, like I said, or a business idea. And at the time, I was back in corporate America. This was about 2006, 2007. And I just was restless once again. And, but I had made up my mind that I was going to settle in for the long haul. And it was right around that time that writing kind of found me. I ran back into an old friend who was a published author. She had a blog, and I would spend some time on her blog, and then I was like, man, I could do this. I writing, and I was like, man, I've always kind of liked to write, but I had never really given it much thought. So I started doing it, man. I just really enjoyed it, and so that's how I grew into the writing side, just kind of getting more into my creative side. But other than that, man, I've just always been a guy who's had a lot of ideas, and always was willing to just explore them. Maybe not. Sometimes I don't think I maybe explored them as long as I should. Mm-hmm. I may have cut off some of my potential. But now, like I said, as I'm getting older, man, I've been evaluating my life and just trying to decide, what the next course of action is.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, that makes sense. Sometimes you have to have that self-evaluation as far as where you want to go. Now, I forgot to let the listeners know that you're from St. Louis.
No,
excuse me, not from St. Louis. You live in St. Louis. Tell the people where you're from.
I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida.
Duval
in the house. That's right. My oldest daughter still lives there. I got cousins who live there. A lot of my older relatives have passed on. I've got family all throughout Central Florida, South Florida. My sister lives in Jacksonville. But then I ended up in Atlanta back in like 91, 92, there. And started working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car back then. And their corporate headquarters is here in St. Louis. I took a position here. And this is where I met my wife. And then now it's been about 23 years that I've been here.
Okay. So St. Louis. So one of the reasons why I had you on is, as I mentioned at the top, you're an entrepreneur. So you went from and still are in the corporate America, but there's a new entrepreneurial spirit that has awakened. And one of the things that I know about cats from at least and it's only a handful of people that I know, that either live or from St. Louis, but everybody that I know from St. Louis, male or female, got a hustle. Like they got one hustle going over here, they got another hustle going over there, and you are doing just that. So forever hip hop, man.
Interesting.
I know, right?
It is. I mean, because I guess it feels so lonely when you're doing this type of work, man. Mm-hmm. It feels like by yourself, that other people don't really, not that they don't understand. It's just a lot of times you feel like you're on an island. You just feel like you're grinding it out when everybody else is kicking it, everybody else is having fun. It's like you doing the other work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Forever Hip Hop, that's the new site, clothing line. Tell the people about it, man.
Well, Forever Hip Hop is an idea that I came up with. One of the things, like I told you earlier, I always have ideas. Mm-hmm. One thing not that I've hated it. I guess I have to be a little transparent. In some ways, I'm kind of high-minded or bougie, as people call it. So a lot of times I will look down on things, but I've always had ideas for T-shirts. Okay. I started thinking about this not too long ago, and I remember back even when I was around about 16 or 17 was the first time I started having ideas for T-shirts. There was a guy who had a shop up the street from. There was a guy who had a shop up the street from me. He had a screen printing shop.
Okay.
And I started inquiring about how you do screen printing, and I was just enamored with the whole concept of how he did what he did. But being a kid coming from I guess you call it a working class, working poor family, I just never had the resources to do it. So, I never followed up on it. And then when I got in college, I actually did. You know what? I did some shirts. I designed some shirts while I was in college. Back when I don't know if you remember because you guys are a little younger than me, but when the Simpsons first came out, everybody used to have Bart Simpson T-shirts. You know that say different stuff. I designed some of those ones.
And where did you go to college?
I went to University of Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, we won't hold that against him, being that I'm a Florida State fan.
House.
Being that I'm a Florida State fan, we're not going to hold that against him, that he went to that school.
Oh, man, you South Carolina State. You can't be claiming no Florida State.
Hey, let me tell you something. I went to South Carolina State, but Florida State is my school. That's the school I always watched growing up watching football.
You know what, though? Actually, when I was in high school, I applied to University of Florida, Florida State, and University of Miami. And UF was the one who gave me the loot.
Wow.
So that's
I ain't mad at that. Yeah. Gainesville is a beautiful city, though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice place.
I'm sorry, but go ahead.
I'm trying to remember where we were. Oh, so anyway, man, I've always had a lot of ideas for a lot of things, but T-shirts always would come. Those are things that always come back constantly. Mm-hmm. So I just got to the point where I just really got tired of saying no to the idea. And having done other business, I've had a landscaping business. You know, I've done some other like retail businesses on the side. And just having more experience, I was like, you know, I really need something that appeals to a wide audience. And, you know, I was just meditating about it. And I just felt like the Lord dropped that on me because one day I just realized, I was like, man, you know what? I mean, and also being a dad who has kids who like hip-hop, I was like, man, you know, my 32-year-old likes hip-hop, my 28-year-old likes hip-hop, my 20-year-old likes hip-hop, my 19-year-old likes hip-hop, my 15-year-old likes hip-hop. Man, you know, I don't think we expected it to be around as long as it has.
Right.
You know, I don't listen to everything, but, you know, when I'm taking my son to school, sometimes he'll want to play some music. And some of it I dig, some of it I don't. But, you know, that's one of those common ground areas that we have. It allows us an opportunity to relate to each other. It allows us an opportunity to have conversation, to kind of make a connection, you know, and to just really be present in each other's lives. So
true indeed. That makes all the sense in the world. So now when we talk about when you got the idea to do Forever Hip Hop, what kind of came into your thought processes? Because I'm pretty sure that you probably had quite a few people saying, you know, Rich, I think you should do that. But then you probably had some other people that maybe not necessarily didn't see your vision. Did you run into any obstacles trying to get this off the ground?
Well, I'll tell you, my wife, she wasn't in favor of it at first. Okay. Because again, she sees me from a different angle. Mm-hmm. She sees the intellectual part of me. She sees the hustle part of me. She sees me when I'm writing. She sees a lot of stuff that other people don't see. So she wanted to push me higher. She was like, you know, you wasting your time on these T-shirt things. You know, you need to do something better. You need to do something, maybe that related to ministry. You know, there was an idea I had to do a thing called Debt Free Nation. Okay. Which was to help people get out of debt. And, you know, after I evaluated, looked at it from left to right, I just decided not to do it, not in the form that I was thinking of. So, you know, when it came to ideas, she thought I had weightier ideas than this. And she was like, why are you wasting your time on that when you're so much smarter than that? So, but what ended up happening, I did a few designs. Mm-hmm. And for once, my kids liked them. Okay.
That's always good.
They never like my stuff. You know, they give you the nod like, oh, it's all right, Dad. It's okay. But I know even my son, he was like, oh, man, I wear that. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, can you get me one of them? And then he was, he wears his stuff around. So I was like, man, I might have some here. And then one of my daughters, she was like, oh, yeah, Dad, I like that. That's really nice. And I was like, oh. And then, oddly enough, man, I ran into a guy. This guy was just a stranger. Mm-hmm. And we got to talking about business and entrepreneurship, and something in me just said mention it to him. And I got to talking to he was a guy from Chicago. I got to talking to him, and he loved the idea. Turns out he was a big hip hop fan. He was like, man, yeah, I just went to a Bruno Mars concert. I went to a Tribe Called Quest concert. I was backstage. And he was like, I got a couple of buddies who are senior vice presidents of record companies. He was like, you should pursue that. He was like, send me some ideas. Maybe I'll see if I can help you get it off the ground. So, starting to get little signs from here and there just kind of made me keep going. I mean, even now I haven't done a lot in sales, and in the way of sales, but I think part of that is just timing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get this off until late, so it's not really T-shirt season right now. I need to kind of come out with some hoodies,
mm-hmm.
but I'm just taking it one day at a time. So
true indeed. So from a I guess competitive standpoint, what separates if I'm trying to sell someone on a Forever Hip Hop T-shirt, what separates Forever Hip Hop from the other shirts that they could probably find in the store or online?
Well, I think probably the main thing that pushes Forever Hip Hop is that it speaks directly to the culture.
True.
The name of it kind of says what it's about. It's like, when I thought about the name, I was like, man, not only has hip hop been around for over 40 years now, it's withstanding the test of time, but you see hip hop in everything. Hip hop influences television, it influences music, it influences education,
like you said, everything.
Every genre of the American experience. So it's like, man, I mean, even you think about church, I kind of was a little squeamish about the name because I was like, people gonna think that I'm, reverencing hip hop, like it's a god or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was doing. But I mean, even in church, you got artists who they want that hip hop flavor or that hip hop style and sound in their music so that they can reach people in ministry. So it's like hip hop is here to stay. So it's like it's not going anywhere. So that's why I came up with the name Forever Hip Hop.
Okay. So I guess the obvious question is, where can people find, the T-shirts and subsequently the hoodies for Forever Hip Hop?
Right now we're on a site. We're using our parent, I guess I'll call it our parent URL. It's forever-hiphop.com, but it's on we're being hosted by another site, rebler.com. And actually, those are some people I ran into through social media, through Facebook.
Okay.
We used to blog before.
Okay.
But there's a husband and wife team who runs this site. And basically, the wife found me through when I was blogging, and she was one of those followers from back then.
Wow.
Then we ended up being Facebook friends, and she put out she kind of put a little soft ad out one day. It's like, if anybody's looking to make any shirts or anything, check us out. We got our own business. And so, I started talking to them, checking them out, because I had used some different other vendors, but when I got with them, it was a one-stop shop. They allow me to kind of do my thing. They handle, once we get the designs down, they handle the shipping. They handle all the back office stuff for me.
Okay.
So it just was a win-win.
And for someone who purchases a shirt online, how long does it normally take for them to get it? Assuming that they're ordering, here within the continental United States.
Typically you order, they'll process your order within about 3 business days.
Okay.
Is what they've always promised me. Is like, we'll get the order out within 3 business days. So, if it's a Friday, you might not get it out till Tuesday, but, on a Monday, it'll probably be going out the door by Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. But they've been true to their word. They do great work. And, actually, I couldn't probably wouldn't be able to do this without them, considering all of my family requirements. my obligations to my family financially. You know, if it wasn't for the format in which they do business, I wouldn't be. It's kind of like on demand printing.
Mm-hmm.
So with that business model, it kind of allowed me to, you know, to present an entire line without, you know, really having to hit my pocket real hard and carry a lot.
So another question I know that a lot of people have, you know, particularly, and obviously, you know, Forever Hip Hop is something that's just starting this year here in 2017 at the time of this recording. But a lot of people, you know, they always wonder, well, you know, how do you get started and the obstacles and things of that nature. Is there anything that you would like to, I guess, and because the cool part about it is, you know, while this is a new venture for you because you've already been in different forms of entrepreneurship, you've seen a lot and you've experienced a lot. If there's someone out there listening who maybe wants to get a business off the ground and doesn't really know kind of like how to start or where to start, what advice would you impart to them?
I would say the biggest thing now is studying new business models.
Okay.
I mean, in the past, everything was brick and mortar. You know, you'd have to find a store, probably invest a lot of money, get people to come, you know, be in a good location. Now everything is so virtual. It's just a different, it's a different animal. Mm-hmm. You know, people are exercising the power of their following. You know, you got to learn how to build a following, learn how to build content. True. It's kind of stuff that I don't really want to do. It's necessary in this.
It is a necessary evil for real.
It's evil in this particular climate. So I think that, I mean, if you're going to reach a wider audience, you almost have to embrace it. So first things people have to do is really understand how this internet marketing animal works. Required to keep it going. You know, but at the same time, I'd also advise people to find people to partner with, man. I mean, the days of trying to be the one-man band or the one-man show are over. You know, like I said, if it wasn't for this couple that I met, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. I mean, even being on your podcast, you know, this is a part of partnering, you know. You know, reaching out to other people who have platforms, you know, finding mutually beneficial ways to support each other.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
No question. Man, that you hit the nail on the head, and I know that's going to be some great information for someone. So with the site being called Forever Hip Hop, I would be remiss if I did not ask you some things about hip hop before we get up out of here. Right. So now you mentioned that you're turning 50, so I'm pretty sure you're not bumping Lil Uzi Vert right now.
No, I've heard of him, but I don't know his music.
Hey, same here. I couldn't tell you who that dude was if he walked past me on the street right now. I know of his name, I know of his music, but I've never heard a song before. I only know because I got kids. So I gotta ask you, man. If I'm gonna put you on the spot,
okay,
lyrically, your top 5 MCs of all time, just lyrically, not we just talking lyrics. We ain't talking impact and nothing. Yeah, lyrically. If you had to come up with a top 5, who you putting in your top 5?
Lyrically, top 5 of all time. I mean, as much as I won't say I don't like this cat. Top 5, you got to put Wayne in there.
Okay. Wow.
That brother is a killer when it comes to metaphors. I mean, some of the stuff he puts together is just unbelievable. I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of some of the content of his music, but lyrics, he's second to none. Man, you gotta go. You gotta put Pac in there.
Okay.
You gotta put Pac in there. Just you know, you can't have a top 5 without either one of those brothers in there. I mean, their catalog stands for
Okay,
itself.
so you said Wayne and Pac and who else?
Wayne, Pac, Biggie.
Okay, was this Biggie? Okay.
Jay-Z.
Okay, Jigga Man.
And you know what? It's funny. Reluctantly, I didn't like Jay-Z at first.
Hey, a lot of people didn't.
I didn't really start following Jay-Z until probably the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't, he didn't rhyme like he rhymes off beat.
Mm-hmm.
He's not always on the beat, so it took me a while to get used to his style.
Yeah, he got multiple patterns and very, very. He uses a lot of double entendres.
Yeah, he forces you to listen to his lyrics
exactly
as opposed to the instrumentation.
Exactly.
That's behind the music. So that's how I actually got to start liking him, is because I was forced to listen to the lyrics. So who do we have now? We got
all right.
Wayne.
So you got Wayne, you got Pac, you got Biggie and Jay-Z. So you got one more.
Got one more all time underrated Andre 3000.
Okay, 3 stacks.
Coming out of the South. He doesn't even put out enough music, man.
Right.
But you listen to some of the stuff, man, he's way ahead of his time.
Oh, yeah. 3 stacks is cold.
Just the way that he puts the music together, the way he stacks lyrics. I mean, the people who did their production, man, their music was way ahead of its time. Mm-hmm. You start their old stuff right now, and you'd be like, man, wow. I'm gonna have to add one more brother.
Go ahead.
Rakim.
Oh yeah, you gotta have a God on there.
I never really appreciated his lyricism until I got older,
mm-hmm.
because I just rock to the beats.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really listening to what he was saying. Now that I'm older, when I listen to his music, I really hear, the relevance of what he was saying.
True indeed. Let me see. One last about question. You're on a stranded island, and you can only take 3 hip hop albums. Which 3 albums are you taking?
Man, I'm taking. Ooh,
you taking Poison Clan?
No. Only 3 hip hop albums I can take.
Yeah, only 3 you can take.
Man, I can't even remember the name of it, but I'm taking Kanye's early album.
Okay, so College Dropout.
Yeah, I'm taking College Dropout.
Okay.
I'm taking
dope album too.
I'm taking only 3.
Mm-hmm. Just 3. You're stranded. You can always so this is what you got to listen to.
I'm taking Jay-Z's live album.
Okay.
Unplugged. His
Unplugged. Yeah, that joint still goes hard.
I'm taking the Unplugged album. And for the third one, I'd actually probably take some Common.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that has the Nina Simone cut on it. I don't even remember the name of the album, but yeah, I'd probably take that.
Okay.
It has a song called Misunderstood on it where he samples some Nina Simone.
Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. I think I want to say that's the B album, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I'll figure it out as soon as we get off this podcast. So yeah, man, that's great. And the cool thing about the Jay-Z Unplugged is that he's got a little bit of everything from, like, he's got some of his old stuff and some of his new stuff on that particular Unplugged album. So okay. So yeah, you passed the test, man. I mean, not that I needed to test you, but you passed the test. So before we get out of here, man, Rich, tell the people once again where they can find the merchandise. I will be remiss if I did not tell you I have some of the t-shirts, man. I'll have them up on my site. The t-shirts look great, and they feel great, and they fit great, and really good material, man. And I really, even though we're headed into the, because I'm a t-shirt guy, so like some people don't wear t-shirts and stuff in the wintertime and stuff. I'll wear a t-shirt in the wintertime. They fit good and they feel good, so and they look good. So I'm gonna rock them regardless. And one of the cool things about it is that, like I had on one the other day, is for people to see your shirt and they say, "Yo, man, where you get that shirt from?" So tell the people one more time where they can find the material at.
You can get it from forever-hiphop.com. That'll take you straight to the site. Probably within the next couple of weeks, no later than the beginning of November, we will have some hoodies available for you, for those who want hoodies. But get your shirts. I might even run a sale, toward the end of this month to just kind of help let people go ahead and grab some merchandise on the low. And, just check us out. Give us a shot, man. Like you said, that's one of the things I really like about the line is that the clothing feels good on you.
It does. It really does.
It's really, really soft material. So, like I said, again, I wouldn't, without the couple that Ayana and now you're making me forget people's names because I'm live. Aaron and Ayana Porter.
Okay.
Are a couple that helps me with this line, and they pick they recommend all the best. The shirts are like, hey, these are the ones we recommend, and like I said, they haven't led me wrong at all. Man. Mm-hmm. It's great material. Their work is good, and I'm really satisfied with it all.
Oh, and one other question. I know, I have a shirt that says Forever Hip Hop Atlanta. So people can get, so there are different cities that are, I know I saw one on the site that says St. Louis. So they have different cities or whatever, so you can kind of rep your city.
Yeah, well, right now I have St. Louis, New York, Atlanta, St. Louis, Atlanta, New York. Oh, I got Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do a Duval. I got to do a Duval.
Of course.
I'm just trying to land on some colors. I didn't know if I want. I'm mad at the NFL right now, with all this Colin Kaepernick stuff.
True.
I don't want to do the Jaguar colors, but I might end up doing that for simplicity's sake, because that's how I kind of did with the other one.
That would be dope, though.
The St. Louis one has the Cardinals colors, because this is a baseball town.
Oh, no question. I mean, personally, I think it sucks that you don't have a football team there, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, in Atlanta, had to kick the red and black.
Red and black. Peep that.
Right. And I kind of did that with other cities. Chicago, I have a Chicago one. The Bulls, the red and black and white for the Bulls. Now, the Lakers, Los Angeles, I just kind of did a different style altogether. I didn't kind of pattern it behind a team. I just put together a couple colors that I really like. So, but yeah, we're going to be coming out with different cities. I'm thinking about doing something for Houston. Again, like I said, Duval for sure. And ultimately, as the line grows, we're going to I might do a contest and ask people what's the next city we should bring out,
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just go from there, man. Just have a little fun with it.
No doubt. Well, there you have it, folks. My man Richard Dix in the building. You heard it, man. Forever Hip Hop. Make sure that you go to the site, check it out. If you like what you see, cop something, and especially with the holidays coming up, buy something for your daddy or your uncle or your girlfriend. Right.
That's why I'm gonna run a little special. So especially around the holidays, I'm gonna run a little special.
Okay.
People stuff. Throw some stuff in some gift bags or whatever.
There you go. Hey, well, as always, folks, definitely appreciate you guys for checking us out. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Once again, from my man Richard Dix, I'm your host, 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
All right. Peace.